Clock in welcome to the South African Morning. More to come right here on the show. Conversations we'll be having include that with Leighton Beard, who'll be joining, of course, my partner in news, Gareth Edwards, talking about the rising commuting costs associated, of course, as we know, with the increased petrol price, the value of your car, all the costs associated with your car, etc. How are you coping? That is the question, and we're hoping that you would interact and engage with us on that. But also, we expect to speak later on in the next hour with Dr. Hestel van Staden, a forensic pathologist. We'll be giving you more details about what we know behind the cause of the deaths of the 21 teenagers at the eNCA Tavern. This right here on the South African Morning. The steep rise in fuel price has pushed up transport, vehicle and food costs. Today we're looking at how South Africans are coping with these increases. Are they selling their luxury vehicles for cheaper options? Are they carpooling or even using public transport to save on fuel? My partner in news, Gareth Edwards, is in Johannesburg this morning, joins us now to give us the very latest. Gareth, important questions we're asking, and I'm sure viewers needing answers as to what exactly is going on with these fuel prices. How does it impact them and their pockets? And that's particularly why we're there, because we can't deny the fact that people had to rethink, how they get to their various destinations.
Yeah, absolutely. Timza, morning, everyone. Welcome back to the Dome. It's We Buy Cars is where we decided to come through today to try and just give you a sense of the number of people that are actually getting rid of their vehicles exactly for the reasons that you're talking about, Timza. It's the cost of living. We're not just talking about food, housing, electricity, if you have electricity, if you're lucky enough to have it as well, but interest rates have gone up as well. Let's not forget as well, the big story this year, apart from the blackouts, has been the rising cost of fuel each and every single month this year. From the beginning, I went through those numbers earlier in the show. The exponential increase in fuel. It's now getting to a point where we could start seeing 25 Rand, 26 Rand for a litre of fuel. And the question is, just how easily adaptable is the South African market? How easily adaptable is the South African driver? But it does get a bit more complicated than simply choosing whether or not to fill up your car. You might want to think about downgrading your car or changing your car, something a bit more fuel efficient. But is it as easy as that? Now, to give you a sense of how quickly people are doing it at this particular branch, the Dome We Buy Cars, on average, having spoken to those that work here, between 60 and 70 cars a day are being sold, and about the same number of cars are being bought a day from clients. So clients are selling their cars. It's about 60 or 70 a day. It's about 1,700 cars a month. And based on what I've been hearing, they're not upgrading their cars. No longer are we seeing South Africans, Timza, going from a small runaround in your university years or your first job years and buying yourself a nice big fancy SUV. It's actually completely flipped around. Yes, you will get those. They're going to come in and buy the premium 4x4s and Land Rovers and all of that. But most people are actually scaling down. And what is the reason behind that? Of course, it is the fuel price. And that's why we're going to be speaking to Leighton Beard from the AA a little bit later. We spoke to him, I think it was last week, when there was an expectation that the next fuel price coming up in the first week of July, it's normally what it is, the first week of every month, there's an adjustment. It's between R1.50 and R2. So currently, as we stand at the moment, we're sitting, depending where you go, about 23, 24 Rand for a litre of 95, and diesel drivers are getting hit really hard at the moment. So we're going to speak to Leighton Beard about that fuel price. How much is it going to increase by? Do we have a better idea? And then one of the questions I wanted to ask Leighton, I've not actually had a chance to, but I'm going to today, is anyone watching at home, if you can send me a tweet, my Twitter handle is @GarethEdwardsSA. Have you noticed, tell me if it's just me, have you noticed that depending from which type of garage, which brand of petrol station you go to, the price is very different? I've noticed that personally. There's one particular brand of petrol station that I go to, because I drive diesel, and it is significantly cheaper than the other garage that's around the corner from me. So there's a minimum price that can be charged, but is there a maximum price that can be charged? And that's what I'm going to ask Leighton Beard. And the advice we're trying to get from there is, don't just go to your local garage and fill up, Timza. Actually take a look at what they're charging per litre, because there is actually a difference. I'll give you the example I'm talking about. The petrol station I now go to is about 2-3 kilometers away from my house. The one around the corner from me is charging R2.50 more for the same litre of diesel, Tumza, than the one I found a bit further away from me. So where are the regulations as far as the fuel price is concerned, and of course that fuel levy? So that's Leighton Beard coming up this hour, and then at 8 o'clock I'm going to be joined here from We Buy Cars, from their Chief Digital Officer, Vaden Beerkus. He's going to talk to us about the statistics. What actually are people buying? I keep saying people are downgrading. To what? What is the most economical car that people are buying? What are they trading from, and what are they trading down to? So that's coming up for you this hour with Leighton Beard. We'll talk to the AA, and then 8 o'clock this morning we'll speak to Chief Digital Officer here at We Buy Cars, see what people are actually doing.
Quite important. Thank you so much, partner. We'll be sure to come back to you, of course, a bit later on for those conversations. Gareth Edwards out for us, ensuring we get some of our, worries and anxieties just, relieved a bit due to what's happening with the increased prices around petrol. But we